8-year-old Zara Montgomery had been labeled many things: brilliant, bold, and utterly impossible. She was the kind of child who could spell psychological manipulation before she lost her two front teeth, and weaponize it to skip bedtime. Since her mother passed away nearly a year ago, her spark had sharpened into something more cutting. No nanny could last more than a few days. One stormed out after Zara reprogrammed the smart home to speak only in sarcasm. Another quit after she found her luggage duct taped to the ceiling. Her father, Daniel Montgomery, tech mogul, single dad, and completely out of his depth, was running out of options. He could negotiate billion-dollar deals, but his daughter? She was a puzzle wrapped in a riddle and dipped in glitter glue. He couldn't get through to her. No one could. She's grieving, he'd tell himself. She's just hurting. Zara had already scared off 5 nannies. One called her a mini menace in pigtails. Thank you for watching Story Grab Bag, where the sass is spicy, the twists are juicy, and the endings always hit hard. If you've ever interacted with a kid like Zara, go ahead and hit that like button. And don't forget to subscribe, because what happens next? Let's just say even Zara didn't see it coming. Oh, and tell me in the comments, would you have lasted more than a day as her nanny? Let's get back to the story. Layla James was a waitress in a downtown diner that smelled like burnt coffee and despair. Life had been a marathon of setbacks, a dream deferred, a relationship gone toxic, and a boss who treated her like gum stuck to the bottom of his non-slip shoes. She was smart, too smart for this place, and bone-deep tired. The kind of tired that made you feel hollow inside. Her tips barely covered rent. Her dreams of becoming a teacher? Collecting dust on the top shelf of a forgotten cabinet? And that day when she dropped a tray of hot wings in the lap of a rude customer and got docked for it? Yeah, that might have been her last straw. Daniel and Zara stopped in at the diner by accident, literally. A carnival plan went south when Zara declared, "I'd rather eat cardboard than watch clowns." The diner was unimpressive. Dingy booths, greasy smell, but they were hungry. Layla approached, pen poised, lips tight. "Welcome to Marty's. Can I—" Before she could finish, Zara tilted her head. "Do all the staff here look this tired, or is it just your shift?" Daniel gasped. "Zara!" But Layla didn't flinch. She leaned in with a dry smile. "Well, I'd ask if you were always this charming, but I don't like rhetorical questions." Zara blinked, then smirked. The tension in her shoulders eased, just slightly. Daniel stared, stunned. Not at Zara's sass, he was used to that, but at Layla's response. Not rude, not pandering, just real. Zara poked at her food. When she left for the bathroom, Daniel muttered an apology. "She's been through a lot." Layla nodded. "So have I." On her way back from the bathroom, Zara crossed paths with Layla again. This time, Zara grumbled something about the hand soap smelling like old people. Layla casually shot back. "Maybe it's the attitude rubbing off." Zara scoffed and retorted with a rude remark about her apron. Layla leaned in and whispered, "Don't start a war you can't finish, short stack." By the time Zara returned to the table, she was grinning. Grinning. Daniel noticed it. Her eyes sparkled. That wasn't a polite smile. That was joy. Daniel's heart skipped. He had a hunch. The next day, he returned alone. Layla looked up from her notepad and smirked. "Where's your sass queen?" "At home," he said, smiling. He asked to speak during her break. After her shift, they walked in the park across the street. That's when he offered her the impossible, become his daughter's live-in nanny. Layla blinked. "You want me to babysit your sass machine in a mansion?" she asked, stunned. He smiled nervously. "I'll double whatever Marty's is paying you. You'll live in my guest house. I'll handle everything. Just think about it." She promised to think about it. Layla returned home that night to find an eviction notice tacked to her apartment door. Her stomach dropped. Rent, utilities, credit cards. She was drowning. She called him the next morning. "I'll take the job." The Montgomery mansion was more than a home. It was a fortress of marble, glass, and silence. Layla's new room was gorgeous, with a balcony overlooking the gardens. For the first time in years, she felt safe. But Zara? Zara greeted her with a glare. "I give you 2 days before you run crying to your mommy," she said. Layla grinned. "Good thing my mom lives across the country." The other staff whispered warnings. "She's a nightmare. She booby-trapped the last nanny's closet." You'll regret it. But Layla just cracked her knuckles. I like a challenge. What followed was a war of pranks, one-upmanship, and snappy comebacks. Fake spiders in Layla's shoes, food coloring in her shampoo, a glitter bomb in her closet. Zara even taught the smart fridge to scream, "Incoming!" when Layla opened it. But Layla, she was no rookie. She retaliated with harmless, hilarious pranks. A balloon avalanche, toothpaste-filled Oreos, and a whoopee cushion placed under Zara's fancy beanbag. The moment it went off, Zara's eyes widened. Then she burst out laughing, a real, belly-clutching, snotty-nosed laugh. Daniel watched, quietly stunned. He hadn't seen his daughter this alive in months. He felt something in him break. In the best way. One Saturday, Layla asked for a personal day. She was gone before breakfast. By noon, Zara was in her room, curled under the covers. By afternoon, she wouldn't come out. And by nightfall, the mansion felt hollow again. When Layla finally returned that evening, she headed straight to Daniel's office to check in. But before she could knock, a sound stopped her. Crying. Zara stood at the end of the hallway, tears streaming down her face. "You left me," she sobbed. "Just like Mommy." Layla rushed to her, pulling her into a tight embrace. "Oh, baby. No, I just had errands. I'm not leaving you. I'm never leaving you," Zara sniffled. "You promise?" Layla nodded, cradling her close. "I swear, on my last clean pair of socks." Zara let out a laugh through her tears and collapsed fully into Layla's arms, clinging like a lifeline. From the shadows, Daniel watched the moment unfold, and in that instant, he knew. Layla wasn't just a match for Zara. She was family. Later that night, Daniel gently asked Zara, why did it matter so much if Layla left or not? Zara wiped her nose and answered softly, "Because I love her." Then why all the pranks? A sheepish smile tugged at her lips. "Because it's fun. And she's not scared of me, or you. She doesn't act like I'm some spoiled monster. She doesn't suck up just because we're rich. She matches me. For once, I feel normal." From then on, the three of them became a team. Laughter replaced silence. Play replaced pranks. And one rainy afternoon, as Layla and Zara danced barefoot on the balcony, Daniel noticed it all. He noticed the way Zara slept through the night now, without nightmares. He noticed the way the house no longer echoed with silence, but with music, mischief, and the occasional, "Dad, Layla won't let me eat chocolate before dinner." He noticed how he, too, had started to smile more. One quiet evening, after Zara had fallen asleep on the couch during movie night, Layla covered her with a blanket and turned to find Daniel watching her from the doorway, soft-eyed. "Can we talk?" he asked. They stepped outside onto the terrace. The sky was deep navy, scattered with stars. The wind was gentle, the moment peaceful. "I know this wasn't part of your plan," he began. "You came here to do a job. But you've become more than that. You've brought my daughter back to life. You've brought me back to life." Layla swallowed. "Daniel, I'm not just saying thank you. I'm saying I want this to be forever." He reached into his pocket and pulled out a small velvet box. Just sincerity and shaky hope. "I don't have a speech prepared. Just a promise. I'll never let you feel alone in this world again. I love you. Will you marry me?" Layla blinked. Twice. She looked toward the living room window where Zara lay curled up and smiling in her sleep. "Yes," she whispered. "It's always been yes." They held the ceremony in the garden, just as spring stretched into summer. Everything was blooming. Layla wore a simple, elegant dress that swayed in the breeze. Daniel looked both giddy and terrified. Zara was the flower girl, the ring bearer, and the toast giver all in one. She stood up at the reception with orange juice in her glass, cleared her throat dramatically, and said, "Thanks for not running away, for matching my sass, and for loving my dad. And me, you're the best prank I ever pulled." And that was beginning of their second chance at life. Thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed this one. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe for more unforgettable stories from Story Grab Bag.